Hello everyone, John Odom, drum set and percussion teacher here with Groove with Passion Drum Lessons. Today I'm going to film a video for the song called Sold Out. This is by Hawk Nelson. Hawk Nelson is a Christian rock band, okay? And I've got a student who's, actually I've got a couple of students who have worked on this song. One student who is currently working on this song. And so he asked for a video. So this is for him, but also for anyone else who wants to watch this video and benefit by learning this song. I always say there's a drum lesson in every song. Every song can teach us something on the instrument. So I do want to go ahead and say that I will not re-record this song. I will not distribute Sold Out in any way. I'm not going to use it for any other purpose, strictly for instructional purposes only. That's all. So this song, I always like to give a little bit of information so that way you guys know what's going on with it. How is this song set up? Because when you're learning music, okay, you need to, if you're going to really learn the song, you need to know where the transitions are, etc. You need to know what the tempo is, which tempo for Sold Out is 128 beats per minute. Okay, so it's a pretty brisk tempo. It's pretty fast. Okay, it's got some good energy to it. And when you look it up on Genius.com, Genius.com has the lyrics for a ton of songs. Typically, they'll have it labeled like verse 1, chorus, verse 2. For this song, it's not labeled. So, not that we have to totally guess, because you can pretty much, if you listen to it, and if you've got some experience working on music, you can kind of tell where the verse and chorus begin. Now, in the beginning of this song, okay, the drums come in right on beat 1. I always tell students, if you're trying to do this, which we're going to be using YouTube here, okay, or if you're using Spotify or Apple Music, when you're going to play a song and you have to come in on beat 1, that's always a challenge because you can't see when it starts. Okay, you're playing this in a band, you might start it off, you might give a 4-beat click off the band and then you go into it. So it's a lot easier when you're playing it live with other musicians. So just always keep that in mind. That's something that I don't want, especially the kids that I work with, to stress out about. Okay, so this song, the very beginning beat for this song, let me go ahead and start and I'll show you how this first groove is played, okay? Yeah, a little tricky to know exactly when to come in. So that's the intro. You do that pattern 4 times, basically 8 measures, which is just kick and snare. There's no hi-hat, no ride cymbal yet, just kick and snare, okay? And that pattern is 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. Okay, and I'm slowing it down for demonstration purposes, but that's how that first opening groove is played. And at the end of this phrase, you'll hear like 4 hits. I believe it's 3 hits. And then that's when they come in with the lyrics. Okay, it's when the vocals come in. So basically, that's that's how the intro is played. That's the intro, and you're coming into what would be verse 1. Okay, verse 1, you're going to keep playing this part. You're going to keep playing this same groove as it comes in with the vocal, same groove. Okay, so that might take a little bit of practice to get used to. If you need to practice it with your 8th notes on the hi-hat, that's fine, because in the next section, that's what you're going to do. You're going to continue this same pattern between the kick and snare, but you're going to add the 8th notes on the hi-hat. So let's keep going here. I'll back it up just a little bit. And this is the last part of the intro, getting ready to come into verse 1, okay? Like no one you right there, the last part of that, and this might be like a pre-chorus, okay? But it's going to do 3 hits with the kick, snare, and tom there. And these are accents. There's a lot of accents in this song. It's a very energetic song. It's got some good energy to it. It's a fun song to play on the drum kit. But you're going to do 3 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when he comes in a world full, basically is the first line. Now you're going to add the 8th notes on the hi-hat. Okay, this might get more tricky to play. A lot of drummers, a lot of my students, pretty much all my students can play this. Kick on 1 and 3, snare on 2 and 4, 8th notes. This is a syncopated pattern. Okay, it starts off, syncopated means accent on the offbeat. That's why you're going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 3 and 4. So it can get a little tricky to play with the 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So you may have to slow it down. One thing we can do, the nice practice tool that I recommend students use, I've used it myself for certain songs that I don't know that I have to learn, is you can slow the speed down on YouTube to 0.75. Okay, slow it down if you need to, and then get everything working together. Get your right hand lining up with your bass and snare. The good thing about those bass drum hits, they're falling on the ends. They're not falling on a 16th note in between. So that does make it a little bit easier. Okay, so for a beginner student, this can be a little challenging, but with practice and times, like everything else, you'll get it down, right? So let's keep going now with the pre-chorus. So now your groove changes. It changes. It goes from a syncopated pattern to a bass drum on the quarter notes, which is known as 4 on the floor, because the song, I would say, and other musicians and drummers might say something different, but the feel of the song somewhat shifts. All right, still has good energy. 4 on the floor always has good energy. Okay, but 4 on the floor is meant to drive or to propel a song forward, propel the music forward. So you're going from this. Hits. I'm sold out. Sold is on beat 1. I'm sold out. And their drummer played those glisses, right? So that's another, when you're playing the syncopated pattern with the 8th notes on the hi-hat, when you start playing these glisses that I'm going to show you next, there's some limb independence happening. You got to have some limb independence, limb coordination between your hands and feet to play this. Also, when you're first learning it, count. Count. If you got to count the whole song to start with, that's fine. As you practice it and get more familiar with the patterns, the groove changes and variations, you'll be able to ease off on the count. You won't have to count as much. Okay. So when you come into the chorus here, 1, 2, 3. Because again, this chorus has a lot of energy. Okay, a lot of energy. Not going nuts, not hitting 5,000 crashes, but you can give the song. This is meant to be an energetic song, so we're not trying to be real timid or anything, real shy. Play it. Give the song the energy that it needs. Okay, but that can be a little tricky there to play that. But again, just something you need to practice. There's definitely some coordination going on between the feet. 1, 2, 3, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Crash if you want. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Another crash. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. So might need to practice that. Slow it down, then you can build it up to speed. So let me back it up just a little bit, and we'll keep going with the chorus here. Say this is the pre-chorus. Sorry, I said chorus, my mistake, pre-chorus. And when we get to this part, you can start to throw a little bit of gliss in there again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, those glisses, in the last month or two, I've had several students who they haven't really, some of them are beginners. So getting them started on using the gliss, okay? In my humble opinion, the gliss is just as much a part of grooves as the bass drum, snare drum, closed hi-hat, and ride cymbal, okay? We hear the gliss all the time. So not that you want to overuse it, okay? You can't overuse it if you're not careful, but it is an option that we have on the kit, and it adds a lot. It's a great sound effect, okay? It catches people's attention. And so there is some coordination involved to play it. You've got to know when to lift your left foot, right foot if you're left-handed, okay? But you got to know when to lift your hi-hat foot and when to lower it, okay? And that's something, of course, that you practice as far as with your timing goes. So we're going to keep going here. I would say this would be the bridge, because you haven't heard this part of the song yet. This sounds completely different from the verses, the pre-chorus, and the chorus. Even though it's not labeled, and I'm sure there's somewhere you could look up and find the actual song, how it's laid out and everything. But this, I would say, is the bridge. So drums cut out here, a little bit of vocals. You're going to come back in with the very first groove you played, you started with, which is just kick and snare, no hi-hat. You're going to come back in with your syncopated pattern. Come back in with the original groove that you played, okay? And when you do this, it gives the song dynamics. And also it's almost like, when you have stops and starts in music, it really gets the listener's attention. When the song stops, when you have a cut and then it comes back in, that grabs the listener's attention. So it's a very powerful tool to use in music. A lot of bands use that. My band does that quite a bit. With Just a Few Frogs, my Christian rock band, we do that quite a bit in our songs, and that's the purpose of it, okay? So I'll back it up a little bit. This is going into the bridge. track of the tempo you want to play.
You put it down in my passion. They're just an opportunity to put my faith into
Come back in here. And it's going to be probably 4 hits on the end, but that's how it ends. It ends with, with the I am sold out, and then the song. That's it. So it's got you could call it like a staccato ending, meaning it's and you're done. You do your hits between the snare, bass drum, and floor tom, the accents, and you're done. That's it. So that's an overview of how to play Hawk Nelson. Again, that's not the hard, fast rule. I always tell my students that, what I tell you is it's not like the 10 Commandments. It's got to be like this. I like to give my students some leeway. I want them to give their ideas as well, because I want them to be creative. I want my students to put some thought into their songs. I want my students to also express their creativity. Okay, so I am currently enrolling new students, for drum lessons. I'm currently teaching at Flamenco del Sur Arts. This is a dance and music school. This is in Orlando on Narcoossee Road in the Nona Business Center. Right on Narcoossee Road. I also go to students' homes in the Orlando area. I also go out to Winter Garden, Ocoee. I also go over to Oviedo, so I do go to the surrounding area for home lessons, and then I also teach Zoom lessons right here in the music room. I also have online lessons, I offer that as well. So if you are looking to learn how to play the drums, if you have a child, you're a parent with a child looking for something for your child to do, especially during the summer, and it's something we could continue when school starts back. It wouldn't be just for the summer, it's something that should be ongoing. Because learning to play a musical instrument really does help students do better in school. Research has proven that. So, and it's fun. It's a wholesome, great activity. That's great for both kids and adults too. I also teach adults, not just kids only. I also teach adults, even older people, my age and up. So if you're looking to have lessons, or if you know someone who is interested in drum lessons, contact information will be on the video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Take care and be safe.